I see that we have Kate Meehan from the zoning department here. Welcome, Kate. And also have Mary Ann. Is that Mary Ann McWilliams?
Yes. Hi.
Okay, great. And you are the applicant and homeowner?
That is correct, along with
Okay.
Roger Stevenson.
Gotcha. Okay. Is Roger with us?
He is.
Roger, if you could unmute.
I'm here.
All right, great. Mr. Stevenson, will you be providing any testimony here today?
Sure, whatever's needed.
Okay, great. Just a heads up that when and if you do want to provide any testimony during this hearing, I'll need you to activate your camera. You don't need to until you're testifying, but I'd just like to give people a heads up that they may be on camera in a few minutes. So, okay.
It says it is on. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just seeing black on my end.
Yeah, it's me too.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if maybe some camera features on the computer need to be activated. That could be it. Another option too, I don't know if you're on your computer or what device you're on, but if you try to use a different device, such as a cell phone or something like that, sometimes that's a good workaround. But I've got a few administrative things I need to cover, so I'll let you continue to try to work with that and try and get that activated. In the meantime, let me go through. I need to read through our hearing script, which will cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll get started. Are Mr. Stevenson and Ms. McWilliams, are you all expecting anyone else to join us here today on the applicant owner side?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, great.
Our neighbor said they might, but
okay,
not sure.
Okay. If anyone tries to join during the meeting, I let them in, and so if that happens, I will let them in and allow them to contribute to the conversation. But if you're willing to begin the hearing now, then I'm happy to get started.
Sure.
Okay, so I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing. So this is the August 9th, 2023 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. Again, I'll be presiding over the hearing. Case before us today is case number ZHUV230006. Purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any potential opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument offered in opposition. I will give Ms. Meehan an opportunity to provide any testimony in addition to her staff report. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, as we've already seen here a little bit, I'll do my best to help troubleshoot those on the fly. But if there is a defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, and again, just for our purposes here today, I'll go to Ms. McWilliams. I'll allow you to tell me about the project, any background you think is important, what it is, what exactly the relief is that you're requesting, and why, of course, you think that I should grant that. And I'm going to try and let a phone in here, which I assume is Mr. Stevenson. And then I'll allow Ms. Meehan to provide some testimony. We'll go back. I'll have some questions along the way. I'll allow you to respond to anything Ms. Meehan said, make any closing statements, and then we'll close the hearing out. Let's see. I think the last thing I need to do here after we get the phone checked in, and Ms. McWilliams, is this Mr. Stevenson that we're seeing now?
Yes, that is correct.
Great. So we'll just give him another minute to join. All right. Mr. Stevenson, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, but I'm going to go ahead and remove the other account there so we don't have the echo. If you could go ahead and unmute for me, Mr. Stevenson.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Just want to check to make sure we're working all right. All right. I think we are ready to proceed. Who is going? Well, last thing to do is swear in all of our witnesses. If you intend on providing any testimony here today, the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if that's you, if you could raise your right hand, I need you to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Okay, great. Who will be taking the lead on telling me about this particular application?
I'm going to let Roger speak to that.
Okay, great. Mr. Stevenson, the floor is yours.
All right. So we bought the house in December of last year. There had been a fire like a year prior to that. There was a city complaint due to the fire on the house that we didn't know about. The part of the complaint was that the deck in the back was rotting and unsafe and needed to be replaced. So the building inspector came by and told us about it. And now we're here trying to get it replaced.
Okay. And can you tell me more about the previous deck? Is it in the same location as the proposed new deck?
Well, so yes. So the deck is surrounding a pool and attaching to the house. And then there's a staircase going down to the pool area. We are proposing, it's kind of changed since we did this application. We've removed the old deck and it's kind of changed our perspective a little bit. We're actually it looks like we're going to decrease the size of the deck a little bit. But yes, it is effectively just a replacement of it.
Okay. And I have here that the request is for a 0-foot rear yard setback. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, the concrete for the pool was poured directly to the line, and the current deck goes straight up to the line.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm sorry, could you tell me more about this? So you're saying the deck is on the rear property line or the pool is on the rear property line?
So the pool is an in-ground pool. It's poured concrete. It stands up, what is it, four steps up. So it's about, I think, 30 inches above grade in the back. It's kind of at grade going down, or it is at grade going down from the front of the yard to the back. But at the back property line, it's about 30 inches above grade. So there's a deck extending. They poured the concrete and then they extended a wood deck to give like more clearance around the pool for people to go around. They built a wood deck extending out to the back of the property line to meet up with the concrete back there.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you're putting in this new deck, and that goes right up against the property line, as does, it looks like a corner of the pool.
That's
there.
right.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha. All right. And is this going in the exact same place as the old deck? Is it any larger? The footprint of the deck been expanded in any way?
No, it's going to actually be smaller when we're finished.
Okay. And is this property adjacent to, is that Marjorie P. Lee there?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And so you share a property, a border on that rear property line with Marjorie P. Lee?
That's correct.
Are there any potential adverse effects as a result of this deck being located on the property line?
It should probably enhance their view, as it'll be more beautiful.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell me about this project right now? Either Mr. Stevenson or Ms. McWilliams.
Well, I just want to say that the code is 35 feet to the property setback, and I don't know if many or any properties in Hyde Park that meet that stipulation. So that is what we're up against here. That's why we're asking for the variance.
Gotcha. So you're saying that this rear yard setback of 0 feet is common on this street or in this particular neighborhood?
I would say so. Yes. I don't know many homes that could meet that requirement.
Gotcha.
Well, he said specifically the 0. Our whole house is like 20 feet back. So we don't, like our entire structure, the building we live in, it doesn't meet it, but so.
Gotcha. Yeah. What is the distance from your home to the rear setback?
I think it's 19 feet and some inches.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else before I allow Ms. Meehan to provide some testimony?
I don't think so.
Okay. Ms. Meehan?
Yes, thank you. So yes, just to add on to what Roger and Marianne have said, the property is in an SF6 zoning district. So the requirement would be to have a 35-foot rear yard setback. I think their rear yard measured from the house to the rear property line is like 25, a little bit over 25. So they're not on a legally compliant lot to begin with. So basically anything they would do in the rear yard would require a variance because the rear yard is non-conforming to the setback in SF6. I did look at an aerial of other properties, and several other properties on Victoria have decks in the backyard. And I would say none of those are compliant with the setbacks, again, because the setbacks along here all look to be non-conforming. So I would say anyone on Victoria would have an issue with building any kind of a compliant rear yard structure, given the shallowness of the backyards. And just to address, their property does back up to the Marjorie Peely Retirement Center. Specifically where their house backs up to is kind of like a courtyard and garden area. So it's more of the outdoor area of the retirement center. So I would not think there would really be any kind of an impact. I mean, it's where they back up to is an outdoor area. So you would expect, to hear some noise and some things like that from this area. And I'm sure it would be very minimal, but and then I guess my final comment, I did have a conversation with Roger about the pool. It is a pretty large pool, and I believe from what he said, they had someone come out and look at the pool, and that the contractor that was out there thought the pool maybe was from the 1950s. Correct me if that's wrong, but so the pool has been there for quite a while and certainly predates the zoning by quite a bit. So, the existing pool obviously is not compliant, but was built at a time when I'm sure the zoning was quite different from what it is now.
Sure. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Meehan?
No, I think that's all I have.
All right. Does anyone know when Marjorie Peely went in there? Whether that predates the home or the pool?
I just looking at it, it's a PD. I would guess that I'm not an architect, but from looking at the building, I would guess maybe 70s or 80s, just based on the design of it. So I would say certainly it was built well after the home and pool.
Gotcha.
So one comment on that would be the fence that they have. It goes on the property line. We had a survey done. It goes on the property line where our pool is and where that little concrete is there. It actually bumps out like 2 or 3 feet and then comes and goes in immediately after the concrete. It bumps back in. So they knew when they built that whole landscaping area that it was existing.
Okay. Great. All right. Anything in response to Ms. Meehan's comments from Ms. McWilliams or Mr. Stevenson? Okay. I don't think I have any more questions. I think we can leave it at that. I've had an opportunity to review the application, the staff report. Based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I am going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. I think based on the current queue of cases that I have right now, that is a realistic expectation. I'll do everything I can to get that to you as soon as I can. What I do is I put that decision into a PDF as soon as it's finished, and I email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you all will have a copy of that really just moments after it's complete. As soon as you have that, Ms. Meehan can approve the zoning permitting on her end. And then hopefully at that point, you all can move forward. Any questions about any of that or the process?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, fantastic. Well, if you do have any questions in the meantime, I'm happy to field any of those, or if you'd just like a status update on the decision, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions or give you a status update.
All right.
Great. Thank
Thanks for your
you.
time.
Sure. Good luck with the project. Hope
Thanks.
you have a good day, and we are